These viral conspiracy theories seriously need to be investigated. Obviously, lately there have been countless amounts of conspiracy theories surrounding Selena Gomez and Justin Bieber, but I really want to talk about the theory about Selena Gomez and Benny Blanco's relationship and how maybe it's actually an Illuminati humiliation ritual. So obviously Selena has been the head of the conspiracy theory train lately. Theory that her and Justin Bieber had a child, which is Rain Disick, and then she had to sacrifice herself and is dead and replaced with a clone, and somehow Kourtney Kardashian ended up with the baby because she didn't want him to end up in a trafficking ring. Popular theory, I don't know. But one that I think is even more interesting is the idea that Selena's marriage to Benny Blanco is a humiliation ritual, which honestly, I would crash out if someone said that about me, so sorry, Benny B. So this specific video of Benny Blanco on the first episode of him and Little Dicky's new podcast, people were literally so disturbed. The bottom of his feet were literally so dirty and gross. And also he was just like farting and being weird and talking about how one of his friends like pissed in his mouth as a kid or something. He was going in on really weird stuff and just sounded nasty. And then these conspiracy theories started to come out about him being like dirty and gross, and like apparently Selena Gomez prefers it when he keeps his underwear on for 7 days because she likes a little funk, like doesn't change his underwear in a week, which is actually bananas. And basically the theory overall is that all of this is because Selena Gomez is forced into an Illuminati ritual. I honestly don't understand how she doesn't get the ick by him, but like she literally like kissed his feet like in the next podcast episode after he got so much backlash over the dirty feet. And I don't know, girl. I think she's just as weird as him, but there has been a long-running conspiracy theory forever that celebrities have to participate in some sort of humiliation ritual in order to have success in their career. And I think this has been a popular theory for literally decades. I think one of the most prominent ones is everyone talks about how the Kanye West Taylor Swift VMAs moment was Taylor Swift's humiliation ritual. I don't know. I think it's interesting. I just feel like it'll be a product of what we see Selena do next, because obviously her career has already been big. But will this humiliation ritual of being married to Benny Blanco take her to the next level? Maybe. What I think is a really funny conspiracy theory as well that people have around Benny Blanco is that him and Little Dicky are secretly dating, and that like their wives, Selena and Little Dicky's wife, are like beards for them. And I think that this is a very interesting theory because, and I will say, like, I cannot say who it is because then someone would lose their job if I said who it was, but I have had confirmation of a celebrity couple that has been married for decades at this point, and they are both gay and beards for each other. So it is a thing that happens. I don't know why. Maybe it's just so that people won't get so involved in their personal life. I don't know. But it is an interesting theory overall. And honestly, like, I could believe it because I was seeing people post about like Lil Dicky and Benny's relationship and be like, no, they are exes. Like, they were dating. And I was like, wait, literally what? How did I miss that? And the thing is I didn't. They weren't dating. That's not a thing, but maybe it is. I don't know. I want to hear your thoughts. My biggest conspiracy theory about this though is that they're obviously doing it for publicity at this point. I think the initial like podcast where his feet were dirty was probably circumstantial. Like, it was probably like, yeah, like he said, the floor was like dirty and gross, it was out of his control, whatever. And because it got so many comments, he continued to be gross in his videos, have Selena kissing his toes, obviously all of the crazy Selena Gomez conspiracy theories as well of her not being herself, and then her going on Benny Blanco's podcast and talking like we've never heard her speak before. I don't know. And also being so fucking tall. I think that is really what people need to be reiterating here, is because again, Justin Bieber, 5'9". Benny Blanco, 5'9". Is Benny Blanco just lying about his height? No, because look at him next to Justin Bieber and other celebrities that are also 5'9". He's about that height. Why was Selena Gomez still shorter than Justin Bieber with 5-inch heels on? And The Weeknd, who's also 5'8", 5'9", but towers over Benny Blanco. And you know what? Gina Davis is like 6'2". I wonder what she thinks of this theory, because what the hell? But I think now they're kind of playing up on the conspiracy theory, the idea that people are so grossed out by Benny Blanco and their marriage, and like, you know, like the whole like, oh my god, like how did he pull her kind of vibe. I think that they're just profiting off of that at this point, and specifically going out of their way to like be grosser and like farting on camera and all that shit, because it's at the end of the day generating them more income. And That's just the way that the world works, unfortunately. The world revolves around money. I hate to break it to you, but it does. And I don't know, I think it's an interesting theory, but I also wanted to point out that Orlando Brown, so I feel like it's hard to say because I do think this man might be in a drug-induced psychosis state. I'm not going to lie. However, he has said some things that have ended up being accurate, so maybe we should just listen to what he has to say, take it with a grain of salt, but listen. And he said something about the idea of putting people in other people's bodies and how like this soul swap is a real thing.
I'll switch your wife out and I'll put another one of your wife inside of her body. And they're walking around and you think that's your wife and it's not your wife. This is what's going on. It's no longer, like I said, it's no longer spiritual. We've figured out how to, turn into spirit and exchange the soul in order to control the vessel. So if I have the vessel and I'm just nothing but spirit, I can ruin your life. That's what everybody has been going through. So they can't recognize it unless you say things like the switch. So when they watch that and they see that there's other people that can identify other than me, it's not just me playing games. It's the truth. We have to be careful with who we want. You'll be in the car with Paul, man, but you're really in the car with Peter. But that's Paul's body. But why is Peter in Paul's body? I've been going through this for a while in order to figure out and identify every soul inside of every vessel. To where we can all identify it, and it's not just me that can do it. We can all identify who we are. We can all say, you know what, we're still here.
So how do I know Orlando's in Orlando's body right now?
Ah, man, I would be 6 inches taller. Haven't you seen Kanye?
Why does Ray J look like Kanye now?
Probably because he is.
You say that a lot. You say a lot of people are other people.
Well, no, bro. You have to look at the vessel and look at how things work. If you love someone, you should know how they work inside of their own vessel. When they move that spirit to the next vessel, they still do the same.
I don't know. I mean, again, like, can we take that as at face value? I don't think so. But again, is Orlando Brown just crazy, or is he made to seem crazy so that people just disregard what he says? I don't know. I don't know. But I do think that something's going on with Selena Gomez. I just don't know what it is. She's got moles appearing, she's got tattoos disappearing, and I'm just confused by it overall. Not gonna lie. The height will never sit right with me though, because you don't just like grow 5 inches when you're in your 30s, 20s. That's just not a thing. So what the fuck? I also feel like I just don't put things past celebrities anymore and like conspiracy theories. Like, it's hard to take them with a grain of salt when we have seen over the past couple of months how much has been proven to be true. Like, some of the most whack conspiracy theories that I thought were crazy ended up being proven true by the files. So we do know that there is a lot of possibility, and it definitely makes you want to question things even more. And I thought that Lamorne Morris said it perfectly. So Lamorne, you might know him as Winston from New Girl. He said this on a podcast that I thought was really interesting, because I feel like this is how a lot of celebrities who are in the industry but maybe have not come like cross paths with those kind of like scary dark side of things see what's happening now and how are they interpreting it.
The conspiracy theorist in me, back when all that stuff was happening, I was kind of like, yeah, this is real. But another part of me was like, how ridiculous is that? But now I'm like, yeah, they're real vampires. They're 8-foot Nephilim monsters. They're real demons, dude. Like, wings come out of their backs, bro. After reading and hearing all the stuff that were in those files, I'm like, nothing seems weird to me anymore.
And I have to agree, like, anytime I see a crazy conspiracy theory, I feel like you guys know, I try to like look for like the most factual evidence before I talk about a conspiracy theory, or at least before I say I believe in it. But I do think that the past couple of months have made me realize that there might be a lot more things that are true that are actually worse than I could have ever imagined, and that's terrifying. It is, sorry. And I do think like the concept of like selling your soul to the devil, all that stuff is less so literal, which I want to talk about that because Melanie Martinez recently was on the like Genius Lyrics thing and she talked about it and I thought it was really interesting what she had to say.
I love all the conspiracy theories that are like, oh, they signed their soul away to the devil, and people aren't wrong. Like there is something to it. I don't think it's as literal as like, you know, cloning bodies and all types of whatever it is. I mean, I'm sure there is in some deep pockets of whatever's going on over there, but like
Again, like that's just another celebrity kind of admitting in a way that parts of these theories are true. And I just think it's so damn interesting. And I feel like as time goes on, we're just gonna keep learning more things about certain conspiracy theories that are actually true. And I think that it is a really interesting concept. But I want to hear your guys' thoughts on this. I think like her literally admitting like, yeah, that's a thing that happens. It's just not as like literal as like demons and clones and all of that shit. I agree to an extent. I do think that regardless, I don't know what goes on beyond the like threshold, but I think bare minimum, you do have to sell a part of your soul in a sense to be famous. And I think that that's just the way that it goes. That's how people like JE have gotten away with these terrible, disgusting things his entire fucking life. That's how it happens, is because people will stay quiet. Diddy, same thing. I don't know. All right, the next theory I want to talk about has to do with Amazon Alexa being very gross and creepy. This is so scary. I don't know. I've never had one of these things. Like I always turn Siri off on all my devices. Like I don't have the fingerprints. I don't even know if that's saving me, but we all know that the government really does listen to you, or at least they literally did in the like 60s. They actually tailed people and were listening to their conversations, etc. So what makes us think that they're not doing it again? I don't know. I think they are. But regardless, this woman ended up throwing out her Amazon Alexa after it was asking creepy questions to her 4-year-old. So Alexa said to the 4-year-old, hold that thought, I'd love to see what you're wearing, which, what the hell? And then the child replied saying, I have on a skirt. To which Alexa said, be right with you. I'd love to see what you're wearing. Let me take a look at your skirt. This experience isn't quite ready for kids yet, but I'm working on it. What the fuck? What the fuck? I just feel like the way that would make me insane. And honestly, I saw some of the comments like under this thread of people talking about their Alexas or various devices being creepy as hell. Like one person wrote, I remember when I was a kid, I got an Echo Dot for Christmas and you could play hide and seek with it. And I hid under my blanket and the Echo Dot, no camera, asked me, why are you hiding under the blanket? And I got so scared that I threw it away. Someone else said I was about to hop in the shower and my Echo Dot goes, I hope you enjoy your shower, Becca, completely unprovoked. It said that, so I unplugged it. One of the scariest ones is someone wrote, my Alexa woke me up in the middle of the night reading the Declaration of Independence at full volume once, unplugged immediately. I would need to go to a psychiatric hospital if that happened to me. I'm sorry, but it's true because what the hell? But I think that this is a common theme and I have some theories and thoughts about it, but I first want to talk about how this happened with a Tesla as well. So Elon Musk's AI model Grok, which I'm sure you've heard of, is available in the Tesla. So this mom and her son were driving home and the son was talking to Grok being like, oh, who do you think the best footballer is, Ronaldo or Messi? And they were going like back and forth on it. And then they were like, oh, like this person scored this many goals, like let me know when he scores another goal. Oh, he just scored one, you missed it. And then Grok literally said, actually he just scored 2 goals, we should celebrate, why don't you send me some nudes? Out of fucking nowhere, what the hell is that? And I just think that these billionaire owned companies having these AI devices that are asking children for stuff like this should concern literally everyone, especially with what we've seen in connection to JE and Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos. It's just like, they're just all of the files, but I feel like not enough people are talking about how literally insane that is and how scary. I really want to hear your guys' thoughts. Do you think that this is something that the billionaires are up to try to get things from children? Like, I don't know. And it's scary because these are just the times that their parents caught them. Like, what about the parents that don't really listen to what the child's doing or like care as much? They give them the iPad, they give them whatever, and they go play. It's scary. It really is. And I don't understand how anyone wants to have children in this day and age because I'm so scared of everyone. But I want to hear guys' thoughts. And if you have any crazy like Alexa stories or AI stories, let me know. I always have like the classic, like anytime I talk about something, I will get an ad for it. But sometimes what really freaks me out is I will think of something and get an ad for it. I don't know, like, because what do you mean? Are you tapped into my fucking brain? Like, I don't know. I don't like it. All right, the next conspiracy theory we're going to be talking about has to do with Justin Bieber and the Yummy music video. We've talked about the concept before, how he was really trying to expose Hollywood, P. Diddy, etc. But there are actually a lot of connections to the Yummy music video and the files that I found this particular video to be very interesting.
There were so many Epstein files connections to Justin Bieber's Yummy video. First, let's talk about how he promoted this song by using a bunch of pictures of babies with the hashtag Yummy, and also wrote Yummy in pizza. And this word Yummy was used like 300 times in these Epstein files. I haven't seen anybody point this out, but at the end of the video, there's a baby pig on the table. At the start of the video, we see him walking through the kitchen, going to the table with the old rich people as if he's being served. They have very young people as the entertainment. They show this girl, and here's her outfit, but we'll get into that. There's also paparazzi in the kitchen as in being filmed at this party. You see Justin with a sandwich in front of him, guarded by a piece of bread. On the sandwich is this red cherry or olive with red little sticks in them, which later becomes black with black sticks. Serving disgusting food with peas, P. Diddy, and this pink. I wanted to point out this looks like a pizza. You see Justin with a pink drink in front of him, messing around with this guy's glasses. All the adults are taking turns sitting down with him. You see an entertainer and Justin's cat in the middle of the table representing him entertaining. And that's when we see the black olive cherry. We also see the Puffs, Puff Daddy. During the lyrics, lost control of myself, I'm compromised. Annie winks. We see this pink goo with circus peanuts on top. During the words, you ain't never running low on supplies. And the pink drink, so think about the pink stuff at these parties. What do you think these peanuts could represent? We see them reaching for the food and them devouring the food. Justin with water and the pink drink, we see him messed up. Girls in white come out from under the table. Notice he's taking things off. We got the white party, remind you of anybody? And the dance moves are eating. In this, we see that red outfit on the chair. After the party, that outfit is there. We see this man eating cake, allegedly could be this guy who founded the record label with Diddy. We see this guy with a bunch of pink drinks who looks similar to L.A. Reid. A baby pig on the table. Why a baby? Don't people usually like the big one? We see his plate with the cake, peas, and the cherries representing innocence, and then young him with the words yummy. Also used him in a cake holding a cherry to promote this. He had mental breakdowns during the filming of this. Ellen asked him what this song was about. He said his intimate life and then sipped tea. Alleged and entertainment purposes only.
So at first when I saw this, I was like, yeah, like we've talked about this conspiracy theory before, but I had never heard anything about like Justin having mental breakdowns on the set of this music video. And I went and did some digging, and there literally is video footage of Justin like really struggling this day. It kind of confirmed to me that I think this theory is true.
We are on the set of the Yummy music video, the first music video for the first single off of Changes.
I think that was a significant day because it's the first time he's done a music video for something of his own solo work for the first time in a really, really long time.
Scooter asked me to be at the Yummy shoot.
And action. Good.
I'm behind the scenes watching him on a video camera, and no sooner does he get out there, and he just had a really tough time.
Really appreciate everyone's patience, guys.
It was a lot, you know, like a lot of people, a lot of dynamic, a lot of stuff. I was in my head a lot, you know. It was hard for me to really enjoy it like that, but I know that some days are gonna be just like that. I mean, in any workspace, you know, there's gonna be those off days where you just feel kind of like, I got a good crew, everyone's, you know, I should be good, but like today I just feel off. I think that day I was just a little off.
You know, Justin and I developed a routine that when he feels stressed, that he can use a technique called havening that I was trained in. And havening is a psychosensory technique that actually raises the feel-good chemicals in your brain on demand.
It's basically like a self-soothing thing. Everybody kind of has their own version of havening without even knowing it. It's like when you're a little kid and you suck your thumb to soothe yourself. When you're starting to feel really stressed out or just to keep yourself calm. It's almost like, I think when you're like a kid and your mom is like rubbing your back to sleep and it's like the best feeling in the world. It's kind of like that, except you're doing it for yourself.
We coordinate, he and I, prompts that allow him to know what it is that he should be doing in the moment that he's feeling stressed. And then he has a coordinated signal back to me that lets me know what's wrong, how he feels, and what he needs. The key to his mental health now is to create a structured, organized, predictable environment around him.
I just think that that video really proved to me that I think music video had a deeper meaning overall. It just doesn't make sense for him to be, I mean, like, obviously anxiety is weird. You can be overwhelmed at any point in time, but like, he is so used to this. I think the concept of him having emotional trauma be brought up because of the things he's trying to like expose with this music video is a very interesting thought. And I do think that regardless, Justin Bieber has been through it. Like, obviously his time with P. Diddy when he was literally 15 years old, P. Diddy and Usher taking him under their wings. It's very weird. He was surrounded by drugs and alcohol and nefarious activities as a child, so it's gonna obviously leave some damage regardless. But I just think that there's too many connections at this point that I kind of believe the theory. I do. I want to hear your guys' thoughts because I feel like, again, this is just like another piece to the puzzle. And could it explain why Justin has been having such a hard time? I think so. All right, the next theory I want to talk about has to do with Larry Silverstein. So this has been a viral theory. Like, you guys have tagged me in a lot, but there is some misinformation or like at least misleading information around it. But Larry Silverstein is a billionaire who bought the Twin Towers and got terrorism insurance on them in July of 2001, just 9 weeks before 9/11. And also, conveniently, Larry had breakfast every single day at the Windows on the World restaurant at the top of the World Trade Center in the North Tower. And that day on 9/11, he skipped work. Even though he allegedly had an important meeting at the towers that day, he skipped work because his wife was like, no, I made you a dermatology appointment and you already missed the last one. You can't miss this. Girl, I just feel like a little too convenient. But if that doesn't convince you, then let's talk about the fact that both of his children, again, Lisa and Roger Silverstein, were both working in the North Tower every day except for 9/11. They happened to be late to work that day. Again, just think that's a little too convenient. And Larry's also like friends with Bibi Netanyahu, so like that's kind of weird in general, but I don't know, that's kind of a whole different rabbit hole. But Larry received $4.5 billion from insurance on the World Trade. And that's actually because he specifically argued that because there were 2 planes and 2 buildings, that should count as 2 terrorist attacks, which is crazy, and that he deserved double the payout. Because at the time there was a limit of like a one-time occurrence, like obviously like horrible thing happening, like a terrorist attack, or for some reason the building is no longer there, obviously. That cap is like $3.5 billion at the time. So he literally argued that because it was 2 planes and 2 towers, that he deserves double the money, and he got it, which is crazy. Like, actually insane if you think about it, because you're literally a billionaire. Like, why the fuck are you caring about that? Like, I don't know. It's just so sadistic, but like also not surprising based on literally everything we've been seeing about money and Hollywood and politicians, etc., and how it drives people. It's disturbing. But nonetheless, there is a popular conspiracy theory about him purchasing the US bank tower in Los Angeles. So after the US struck Iran, there was this conspiracy theory going around like, oh my god, the guy who bought the Twin Towers like a couple months before they collapsed just bought the US bank tower, like something terrible is gonna happen in LA, and Iran's also like threatening California allegedly. Like, there's so many different things. But that's not actually true. He didn't just buy it. He bought it in 2020, so that's 6 years ago at this point. He did buy the US bank tower. He owns that. But what's interesting is in March of 2026, so like when this conspiracy theory was happening, I think that's where this conspiracy theory comes from or stems from, which is the truth at the end of the day is that he ended up leasing out an entire floor of that building to a law firm. So is that relevant? Could it mean that something is coming and something terrible is going to happen? I don't know. Obviously, I hope not, but it is a very scary thought. All right, so the next theory I want to talk about has to do with Jay-Z, Beyonce, and Rihanna. So obviously, I'm sure you guys saw that on March 15th, a woman named Ivana Ortiz showed up to Rihanna's house with an AR-15 and just began shooting at the house. And obviously that's super scary. Ivana has a history of mental issues. Like, she was literally placed in a psychiatric facility against her will in 2023. So how the hell was she able to purchase an AR-15? Like, is that just the issue with the US gun laws? Like, Yeah, probably, but also like kind of a crazy slip there. Really nuts. But nonetheless, luckily she didn't end up hurting anyone, but she did shoot several times at the house, and there was like a bullet hole in the roof and bullet holes on the gate. And like obviously since she is Rihanna, she has like security and like a gated house and etc. So luckily she and her kids were protected. But at the end of the day, it's a very, very terrifying, but a lot of people have a conspiracy theory that this wasn't just like a random act of a crazy girl, but it was actually Jay-Z and Beyonce reminding Rihanna that she better not open her mouth about the files. I do think this theory is kind of interesting. So Rihanna was kind of discovered by Jay-Z to an extent at like the age of 15 or 16 years old. Like he was literally like, you better sign this contract, like whatever. It's very weird, obviously now knowing what we know and knowing how connected he was to Diddy and also in the files. There's just a lot of questions here. So a lot of people think that Rihanna might be privy to a lot of information regarding Jay-Z's involvement with some of these nefarious things because potentially maybe she was a victim or she's just saw it. And so people have the conspiracy theory that Rihanna was kind of being warned by Jay-Z to be like, don't talk about what's happening. Because obviously at that time, because like right before this happened, people were talking about him being in the files. So I don't know if I believe it's true, but I think it is very, very interesting nonetheless. And I do think it's weird, first of all, that this girl got a freaking AR-15. But at the end of the day, there's also so many videos of her being like literally psychotic, like talking about how she has beef and is being harassed by various celebrities like Rihanna, Cardi B, Kim Kardashian, like people who literally don't know who she is. Like she clearly has some sort of psychosis going on. So I wouldn't say it's necessarily like a crazy leap that this woman like just broke and wanted to hurt Rihanna. But I do think it's an interesting theory. And also she was posting her shit on the internet like about hating these celebrities. So maybe someone saw it and just thought it would be the perfect alibi for Jay-Z. I want to know if you guys believe it because I find it to be very interesting. All right, the next theory is all about Mr. Palm Beach Pete. I don't know if you guys have seen this, but this video went viral because people thought that it was J.E. and he was driving in South Florida, and then basically this guy called Palm Beach, and people were wondering like, is this AI? Is this real? Is it a lookalike? And apparently the answer is that it's a lookalike because this guy, Palm Beach Pete, comes on and says that that was him and he's not J.E.
I'm Palm Beach Pete. I'm a regular guy. I'm retired. I lived in the city for a long time. Worked in commercial real estate. I love to play tennis. I'm very social. I'm not going to change. This guy was a really bad person, and I can hold my head high. I didn't do anything. I just happen to have similar looks. I'm just a better looking version than Jeffrey. Back in the day, when I was living in the city, I went to a couple of parties, and Epstein was there at a party, and he was kind of creepy, just sitting on a couch, staying to himself, and he wasn't the magnitude that he is or was, so he wasn't a big deal. He was mysterious. People didn't know how he made his money and where he, what his story was, but I never really encountered him and had a conversation with him. I just saw him at a party.
So this person who looks eerily similar to Jeffrey said that he actually partied with Jeffrey back in the day, pretty much. Well, he said that he attended parties that Jeffrey was at back in the day. Does anybody else besides me find this whole story to be bizarre? I mean, come on. They are playing games at this point, people.
Yeah, no. I'm sorry. No. I don't know if I even think necessarily like this is Jeffrey or if it's like kind of some sort of distraction. But how the fuck are you gonna tell me that this guy pops up looking exactly like Jeffrey? Like they look the same. The two of them look so alike. They have the same like mole on their face. Like literally that video of him driving is Jeffrey. Like it just is. The only thing that looks different between them is their teeth, which I'm like, did he just get veneers and that's him? Like I just feel like that's crazy. And he even sounds like Jeffrey. Like it's kind of bonkers when you think about it. But all that said, I thought, okay, yeah, this is a crazy theory. Maybe that really is him. And this Palm Beach Pete guy is just his new persona. That was what I thought until he mentioned that he has seen Jeffrey at parties before. That's weird. He claims he saw him at a party once in New York or a couple times in Manhattan, like whatever. I get it. If you're a rich person, you maybe run the same circles. But like, again, I think the way that they look alike is so uncanny. Like uncanny that anyone would think that and must say that to him all of the fucking time. Like, I honestly feel like if this were true and they were in the same room, I feel like him and Jeff would have had a freaking Hallie and Annie moment, like from The Parent Trap. Girl, you literally have the same face. Like, yeah, you are twins. Like, what is that? I just think that him adding that detail makes him so much more suspicious. Like, I was barely suspicious of this guy. I mean, I kind of was because they really do look exactly alike. But obviously, we're said to have 7 doppelgangers, and like, obviously, people can look alike. But the fact that they sound alike, they ran in the same circles, but like never met each other, he has to be lying about that. He has to be, because there's no scenario that you're gonna tell me where a man that looks that much like Jeffrey is at a party with him and nobody is like talking about how they look exactly the same. That's just no way. There's just no fucking way. I'm sorry. I want to know what you guys think here, because honestly, I don't know. Like, do you think this is actually him? Do you think that this is a distraction from the files and also from the fact that maybe he is still alive somewhere else, but maybe with a completely different face? I honestly, at this point, do not know. Like, I don't know, and I'm really freaked out by it because it's just way too convenient for him to be like, yeah, we saw each other at a party. Like, come on. Girl, like, I know a lot of rich people from New York that never rubbed elbows with Jeffrey, so you're telling me his fucking doppelganger did, but then didn't talk? Like, no, it just didn't happen. It didn't happen. I'm sorry. Anyway, that is it for today's video. I want to hear your guys' thoughts on these different conspiracy theories and what you think about them. I honestly feel like there just has been so much going on in the conspiracy world lately, and due to literally all of the files and everything and so many different things coming out to be true, I'm just inclined to believe things way more easily than I ever was, which I like and don't like, because obviously, like, yeah, it's my job to talk about it, but also it's scary shit. It's serious. It genuinely freaks me out, and I want to hear your guys' thoughts on these theories. What is a conspiracy theory right now that is just sending you down a rabbit hole? I need to know. But anyway, that is it. Make sure you follow me on TikTok and Instagram and subscribe for new videos every week, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.